No, well, he's thinking it, and that's not that he's saying it out loud. Give me a fucking... Give me a insight. She looks at you, and you get the... yes. More of a... You get a strong feeling of, let me go. I mean, you're pretty sure that she couldn't kill you if she tried from this form, but all the same. Yeah, go ahead. Um, I would say that you're not really sure. You'd say, you, I mean, judging on your very brief time with him, you've already been under attack several times, and you've been now an accomplice to 3 sets of murders. So, so your plan is to go south to Delaria? Do you have a plan? All right. Um, well, you guys are like here-ish. I think you guys were like here. So it'll take you several days at least of constant travel to get all the way down here. Um, Will, why don't you go ahead and give me a survival roll to see if you like know any like shortcuts or things like that. All right. You actually do know of one particular path when it gets to a little further south that can actually cut some time off of your travel because you don't have to go around this big fucking swamp. You actually know of like a shallow path that goes just underneath the surface of the water that you can still stand on. Um, so yeah, you know that it'll cut about a day's travel off of your time. So you're looking at more like 3 days travel as opposed to 4 or 5. He starts taking like charge of like which way to go. Okay. All right. You attempt to essentially hide your tracks as you guys go. Um, it's it's a little easier at first when you're kind of going through the forests and whatnot, and you're it's more of a normal path. But as you get into the more swampy like area, it's you're just kind of splashing mud around. Especially for like Drake and stuff, you sink so far into the mud that it's like kind of pointless to try to. This is what it looks like as you guys get to about this part of the island. Um, it's still very like bright, and it's sort of that halfway point between a plains and a swamp. It's got very swampy like areas, but it's not quite full on bayou. You know what I mean? Um, as you guys get a little further into the area, heck, you know that specifically this area is like pretty fucking highly infested with like goblins. Uh, because, well, more specifically, you know that there's a probably one of the biggest goblin hordes ever over this way on one of these islands. And so, as as a consequence of that, in the surrounding area, there are quite a few goblins that scout around on these small roads. Um, no more or less than humans. Yeah, I mean, some goblins are, some aren't. It's not like it's not like they have yeah, it's not like they have an affinity for it, but it's not like they can't swim either. I think obviously if they were from the Underdark or something, they would be less likely to be able to swim, but even then, there might be like Underdark caverns of water and stuff. Uh, not. I mean, you would assume that because they don't have an affinity for water, that they wouldn't be any more predisposition to be immune to water than anybody else. I mean, it'd be the same as just assuming that a human could breathe underwater for no reason. I mean, you know what I mean? Like they could be. They might have magic. I mean, it's not uncommon for goblins to have shamanistic type of magic, so them being able to breathe underwater is more likely than other magic. That's definitely the type of magic they would use. Right. Why don't you give me some sort of a survival, if that's what you want to do, or perception or something like that. Nice. All right. So you're on the money. You're looking every which way. Um, and because you've been in these parts before, you're pretty familiar with the surrounding area and what uh what good areas would be for you to be ambushed in and things like that. Um, and just so happens, can you guys control those tokens? Why? Makes no fucking sense. I just don't understand why you guys can't control them. Right, but why? They're literally the exact same fucking tokens that say you can control them. Like, literally, if I click on them, it says you can control them. Makes no sense. Irritating. Oh, don't turn your dudes. Yeah, you can. You put Drake out there too. I'm going to assume you're taking charge in front. All right. Um. All right. So as you guys kind of come down this narrow-ish path, Pack, you see this what looks to be some sort of like hut or something. It's clearly like uh haphazardly put together home of some sort. You know what I mean? It's yeah, it's and it well not only that, but it's not like well crafted or anything. You know what I mean? It's like very ramshackle, like put together, like just random pieces of driftwood and shit like that. You know, it's not like carved out even pieces of wood like nailed together and stuff. And deadly. I would say, I mean, you're kobold, aren't you? Goblins are probably one of your fucking greatest enemies, truthfully. What do you have a favorite enemy? As a which one is that? All right, well, just add some extra flavor. Give yourself the other favorite enemy bonus as well for goblinoids. I'm gonna say like you have a pretty big history of having to deal with goblins. You can interpret that how you want to. You don't have that doesn't just because you're your favorite enemy doesn't necessarily mean you have to have like this undying hatred to want them all dead either. You know what I mean? It can also just mean no, I'm just saying like, you know, it can also be like you're you've just fought these things a lot, so you just know how to fight them. You know how they think. Wanna give me a perception? Both of you. You're fucking. All right. Well, you definitely both see it. You can see that there is a fire that's being made from the middle of the hut. More specifically, though, Pack, you can tell that they're burning flesh of some sort by the color of the flames. Or I guess like you can tell that there's like hair burning and stuff off of some sort of you know what I mean. Like it's not just the meat. Yes. I mean, you would yeah, I mean, some sort of humanoid. Right. Um, yeah, I mean, they wouldn't necessarily. I'm sure there's definitely some goblin cannibals. Yeah. I mean, you'd be more than aware that this part of the world, like especially the more, I mean, there's a reason Pac is from this part of the world, and he knows a lot about it. Like this is like the more south you go, the is where like all the orc warlords live. Just kind of. Alright, give me a stealth roll. Yeah, goddamn. Fucking. All right, Pac, we see you. So he's like, he pretty much he looks at you, Valmir. He goes, "All right, so, yeah, he probably won't listen to you, so be ready for that." And you're like, "Yeah, whatever. It's not my first time." And you kind of look back, and Pac's gone. He pulls a fucking Batman on you. It's just you look away, and he's just not there. Getting caught, Pac. Not paying attention to you. It is. There's a bit of a fog rolling in. It's actually only about midday for you, but there's such an overcast, and with the fog, I mean, it could almost be any time of day. um, so as you get closer, your initial assessment is that you don't think it's a goblin. At least if it was, it's an odd goblin because there's no traps. And typically, if these were goblins, there would be traps all over the place as you got closer. So that's like the first thing that ticks for you that seems a little off. Right. So as you get closer, you can kind of hear, "Jump and then you take the rush and take the blish and bish and bosh, and if you put it in the pot and eat it." Yeah, but I mean, it's so like makeshift, you could probably just walk up to it and peek through somewhere. My eyes! No. So as you walk up to it, you look in and you see. You see Memian. Shaman. So, NPCs. So to you, yeah, appears to be um not full orc. Because at first you're like, oh, wait, it must be an orc, but then you realize he's kind of small. So you're thinking half orc, half goblin? Um, he is chanting, and there's a big cauldron in the middle, and he appears to be taking random bits and pieces of ingredients from around the room as he's chanting, and he's throwing stuff into the cauldron. As you get closer, it does smell pretty good. Um, there is like a makeshift door, like it's actually over here. Um, I mean, you don't see visibly. I mean, it just looks like a big thing of stew of some sort. I mean, whatever was burning, I mean, the initial burning of the hair and flesh is kind of gone now. Yeah, you're neutral evil. We get it. Before your knuckles hit the wood, uh, you hear, "Come in." The the Gork looks at you. He kind of turns his head. Kobold. What I was expecting. Hmm. He kind of scratches his chin and he takes his knife from his belt and he cuts the tip of his finger and he sucks on it. And he seems to ponder something for a moment. He looks at you and he goes, "Monkeys." Well, this isn't. I mean, of course. Uh, Technically, I was just already here. I didn't know you were coming. um, I mean, you want to give me like an insight roll on this guy? I mean, you know, it's hard to tell, but I mean, you don't feel like he's deceiving you. You feel like maybe he's just kind of a weird guy that lives out in the swamp. Yeah, this ain't the first like random redneck weirdo dude you've met. So like, actually crazy. Squirrels. Hmm. I'll have to redo the potion. Drake practically runs you over, Valamir, when he hears this sound and fucking runs over to where. Fuck is. Gorblin? Gorklin? He's he's just a little weird, that's all. Alright. So you guys come back. Do you go into the hut, or do you just open the door again and step outside? Ah, the monkeys! He seems like suddenly way more excited. You said they were squirrels before. I've never seen a squirrel take such a form. Oh no, no, we're not eating the monkeys. You're going to become them. We all could. I have enough here. And he puts his hands on the cauldron. I could turn the whole world into monkeys. No, you don't understand. This isn't for me. This isn't what I want. It's what they want. And he points at your monkeys. the, the one that Drax goes, hey, don't look at me. I don't know anything about this. I'm not even a real monkey. Just a crazy old. She says a crazy old goblin. No, not yet, but it will be soon. Trust me, we must. He says, it is the only way. If we do not do it, we will not be able to communicate with the older ones. But it may have adverse effects. I mean, from what you know about magic, I mean, an incomplete spell or incomplete potion, yeah, could have adverse effects. The worst of the animal kingdom. You suddenly notice all that all of the fucking furniture in here is made from squirrel fur. Yeah. No, wait. I need you for the final steps. No. No one has to be sacrificed. There's enough for all of us. Come closer to the brim of the cauldron. Approach the cauldron. Put your hands on the edge of the cauldron. He, the shaman, takes a look at you, Valimir, and as both of your hands touch the cauldron, you get this shifting vision of this massive, almost palace looking like place being buried beneath the sands. Um, and when it happens, you suddenly see a shifting in the moon, and as it changes, like it seems to like get much closer to the earth, and then you see like these figures on the moon that are like huge, essentially descend down from the moon and land on the planet, and then you kind of snap back to reality, and the goblins leaning over the cauldron at you. What did you see? It is as I assumed then. You are the awakener. Are you mocking me? Should be my voice. I actually didn't sound like this always either. I used to be a falsetto. I'm not here to feed your lizard, but I will feed the monkeys. He turns around and he shuffles around, and all of a sudden he turns back around and he's holding something that you've rarely ever seen, either of you. And actually, Pack, you've probably never even seen it before. You just heard of them. They are blue bananas. And he has 3 of them, and he throws one to each of your monkeys. Sea Cucumber goes fucking ape shit. Starts tearing ass around all the whole fucking hut. Knocking shit over. The other 2 non-monkey monkeys are less excited, but seem to also still eat the banana. However, they peel it. The cucumber does not. That's a pretty good banana. Yeah, but how often do you get a blue banana? You can call me Mamian. If you feel enlightened after that, then you'll feel really enlightened after this. And he pulls out what appears to be a pipe of some sort. He says, I got some of this from the elves up north. He 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 passes you the pipe if you wanted to partake. All right. All right. That's what he says right before he hits it. Um, Pack, do you partake or do you pass on the Memian peace pipe? Okay. Uh, so you pass. Memian takes the pipe and also takes a big fucking drag off of it. Are you still standing outside? Okay. Yeah. So as you're standing there, uh, the room begins to sort of billow up with smoke as Valamir and Memian take turns passing the pipe back and forth a couple times. At first, Valamir, I mean, it doesn't seem to be anything more than just a simple tobacco pipe. You're, it's nothing that crazy. I mean, you've smoked elven tobacco before, so it's nothing out of the ordinary. And then I'm gonna need you to make 3 Constitution saves. Okay. So 18, 14, 14. It's not bad. So now here's the thing. These Constitution saves were just whether or not you have super detrimental effects. It didn't. What just happened to you is so powerful that there was no level of Constitution that can make you just. You know what I mean? It's like whatever you just took was some serious psychedelics. And as pretty much like it's more of like to see if you have like your spleen ruptures or like you go season out or you know what I mean, like nothing super negative happened to you, but you still trip fucking balls. Like you literally you're like as you're starting to think, man, this isn't really doing anything to me, and you kind of turn back across the room and it looks like everybody's faces just start melting all at the same time, and all of the colors and things around the room start to fucking blend together. And right, it fucking every once in a while you turn and you look over at fucking Sea Cucumber, and he's like, "Hey man, you don't look so good." And he's not the monkey that can talk. Go? I wouldn't recommend going just yet. You go now, well, be really high. You'll be out in the forest. Not a great place to trip balls. Be careful, the goblins are more active at night. I wish my mom would have known that. Yeah, of course. And all right, scram. My hospitality's ran its course. You you too. Beat it. He starts picking you up, Valamir. Go on, shoot. I didn't like what you said before. Also, you're all starting to freak me out because you're turning into demons. And he slams the door. um, Heck, go get ahead and give me a perception at advantage. Yes. As you're saying that, you kind of hear the pit pats of footsteps, and immediately you know that you're surrounded. So you just get a. All right. Well, you're surrounded. I didn't say they're attacking you yet. I'm just saying, like, you know, like they don't necessarily see you yet. I'm saying, like, like, you know, like, because you rolled so high, you know that there is, like, exactly, like, 10 of them around you. Like, and that there's not really, I mean, you could come back over to here. Okay. Is Valamir on? Is he on Drake? Okay. All right. So are you attempting to hide? Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth, and then I'm gonna need one from everybody else if they're trying to hide as well. Bach, Bach didn't do very well on his own. Yeah, you guys are just standing out in the open. Yeah, they all hide behind Drake, who's just standing right out in the open. uh, give me a roll for Drake as well. Actually, he's actually similar colored to like the grass and stuff that's around. So when he kind of like just lays down and closes his eyes, he just kind of blends in a little bit. Yeah. Um, I might need rolls from the monkeys. Okay. So sea cucumbers kind of making too much noise, like always. Shh, shh, quiet. Valmir's just sitting on top of. He's just kind of laying on Drake. So he's not super obvious, but he's like, if they were to look over here, they'd probably see you. So, as you guys are hiding, this group forward, you hear one of the goblins from the front. Hey, Memian, we're back for what we came for. You better have it finished too. Do that. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so what happens is as they're approaching, most of them seem to just kind of not really even see you guys. And then this one right here turns and looks, just happens to look you dead in the eyes, Pock. And you can see the realization on his face as you guys make eye contact. Hmm. Okay. Um, well, I mean, in that case, he's gonna go, "Hey, hey, there's something over there." Points off, and the rest of these goblins all kind of. Valamir goes, "Hello." Yeah. These goblins come running up. What's going on? Oh, we've got some travelers, do we? Why don't you all just come out from the darkness out of there, and maybe we won't skin you alive. Come out here. Let us pass by. Buddy, there's 10 of us. And what, 3 of you? Oh, I know no dirty kobold is telling me that I'm a filthy goblin. Shoot him down, boys. All right, initiative. All right. Relax with that. I mean, it's one thing to burp a lot. It's another thing to like do it directly into my fucking ears every fucking time. That's like if every time I smoked and coughed, I fucking just did it directly into the fucking mic. Fucking like Donovan. like, jeez, bro. Aren't we all? All right. Pack your first. Valamir, actually, we are gonna go with the 13 because I forgot you'd be at a disadvantage because you're tripping the fuck out. So I'm just gonna take that as your disadvantage roll. Didn't really change anything. He getting after it. He's just going right in. He just goes fucking flying at the fucking goblin. Not scared of him at all. Literally 10 of them surrounding him. He's just a little kobold. Just fuck you guys. You need some barbarian levels after that. Are you swinging on him or are you stabbing him in the gut? What's going on? Yeah. Yeah, that's why I just gave it to you. It's not really like super OP or anything. Uh, hmm, for the sake of the story, we'll say that you have advantage again when you're fighting goblins. Because you've just fought a lot of goblins in your life. Yeah, definitely. Uh, he was just the one talking to you. E. D6. Oh, from a sneak attack? Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I got you. So he's done so. Well, you did a good amount of damage to him. You you basically run over and fucking lop his arm off and stab him in the throat. I thought you already attacked twice. I mean, am I wrong? You did attack twice, didn't you? Yeah, okay. Okay. Gotcha. So then is it Drake's turn? I I would assume he's just still on it. There's no like riding, I guess acrobatics. Yeah, animal handling. There you go. Well, I wouldn't. Let's do acrobatics because you're not trying. You're not telling Drake to do anything. You're just trying to stay on. And you don't. he fucking he basically rears and he jumps up. Drake goes from like laying down and being stealthy to just immediate upright jolts and runs off. The monkeys all manage to stay on, but Valamir just immediately eats shit. Um, and you take 3 bludgeoning damage as you fall off the side of it because you're not really like trying to break your fall at all because you're fucked up. So you just kind of bash your head on the fucking ground. So it's 8 plus 4 is the damage. Oh, okay. So it's 16 total. Okay. What kind of break is he right now? Okay. See, fucking. You hear bones snap as it like cracks its arm. It doesn't die, but it does fuck him up. Hmm. Valdemir. Um, so do you have like a list of your spells like in front of you? How many spells do you have? All right. Go ahead and roll a d20 for me. All right. Starting from your first level spells, count 3 down. What is that spell? Okay. Uh, I you cast Find Familiar right here. So what ends up happening is you go, ah, Dust Devil, and you summon Key Cucumber right here. It's a Dust Devil! Get away from it! No, the girl, you idiot! What? Is that one of its attacks? Which one is he swinging at? Alright. Well, usually he just uses his bonus action to use the spell through them. But he just had a normal attack. So I believe I had told you at one point that Sea Cucumber's stat block was slightly higher because he's slightly bigger than the other two. But I don't remember exactly what I told you. but I do remember saying something about. Well, I definitely remember me saying something about him having some sort of benefit to the fact that he was bigger. But anyways, fucking the other two monkeys aren't going to do anything. They have to hit their touch attack, so they're doing that. They have, and it's also through your magic. So, I, how many cantrips do you have? All right, roll a d8 for both of them. All right, so this is the 1, and this is the 7. Whatever those cantrips are. All right, so this one gets Eldritch Blast. Uh, so unfortunately, he does miss with the attack, even though he does have the right spell. Uh, and go ahead and give me the attack for that. Yeah, yeah. Just give me then the spell attack to see if like she even makes contact with them when she tries to fucking cast prestidigitation. So what happens is Stephanie flies down and kind of expects to cast Eldritch Blast, and instead, like light appears from her hands and blinds her and flashes her in the eyes, and she hits this goblin and flips over and falls on the ground. All right. So these three here, they're gonna shoot at Drake because he's scary. And this one's just gonna take a shot at the monkey. It's in front of him that's trying to like rip his eyes out. So, what's Sea Cucumber's AC? That is a hit then. Takes 8 damage. And then 3 attacks coming at Drake. What's his AC? Only 1 hit. 7 damage. It's 1 bolt from one of the crossbow, or just kind of gets lodged in the side of his shoulder. Yeah. And then it's the warrior's turn. This one is gonna move forward. This one's gonna stomp out Stephanie. This one here is gonna attack this one. This one's gonna turn around. This one is going to charge forward at Pack. So that is a hit on Mothraxis. That's 5 damage. And then a miss on Stephanie. She starts scrambling around, rolling around as he starts trying to stomp on her. And then Pack. That's another miss on you. And then 2 swings at Sea Cucumber, which are both hits. And he takes 19 damage. As they fucking both take their weapons out and how many hit points does he have? All right. Yeah, so pretty much what happens is he cuts and he goes ah! You feel the connection severed between you two, and it's pretty jolting when it happens. It's not a pleasant experience, and you almost sober up for a second. Like you like it's definitely sobering, but I mean you're still hallucinating. You know that something bad just happened though. And then back. It's your turn. Yeah, he's dead as shit. Just finish him off. Yeah, that's 19 of his own accord. That's 19. Damn. You're like pretty sure if like if you would have been like more on point with your sneak attack, you would have died there. Like that's how badly you fucked him up. Yeah. Um, Drake uh has a surprising affinity for the monkeys, and after hearing Sea Cucumber cry out and be killed, he actually charges this one from behind and fucking like grabs it from behind and starts mauling him. And to hit. Yes, that is a miss. It's more like he's just too loud. Fucking the goblin hears him, kind of, oh, whoa! Fucking backs up and barely moves out of the way. Alright, roll a d8. Cantrip is that? Alright. Gus pushes him 10 feet, doesn't it? Or something like that. He goes, whoa! um, sure, why not? Normally you wouldn't, but yeah, sure. Still not good enough to hit him though. The funniest thing is I don't even ever make the goblins that crazy in my campaign. They just always wreck you guys. So I need 2d8s then. If they're unless they're making normal attack. Yeah, I'm assuming they're making so that's 2 gusts. Well, they do fail, but she's gonna be pushing him this way. She'd be pushing him this way. So pretty much what happens is he goes, oh! They slam into each other. And this one goes. Whoa! He just splashed into the water. Um, then give me a d6. This one takes 5 bludgeoning damage. Gets smacked into the other one. Archers. So this archer is gonna shoot at this one. This archer is gonna shoot at this guy. This archer is gonna shoot at Stephanie. It's a miss on Drake. It's a hit on Malthraxis. The hit on Stephanie. Malthraxis takes 11. Stephanie also takes 11. Oh shit. Okay, so when her bond breaks, give me a Constitution save, or actually a Wisdom save. Okay, so immediately you get sort of a similar feeling, only this time it's like much greater, as like you almost feel like somebody, like, just like the worst brain freeze you could ever fucking possibly have, as like your brain feels like it's being ripped apart. And then it's the warrior's turn. Someone's gonna charge up you, Puck. Someone's gonna try to swim out of the water. He's gonna attack. Actually, he's gonna swim up to you. Dead. Yep. 4 damage. Minimum damage. That's to, yeah, to Drake. And 1 hit on Pac. You take 7 though. And 1 coming at Polymer, and that's a miss. All right. That makes it Pac's turn. The one that it was this one. The one that fucking just ran up. You weren't really paying attention to him. You were busy trying to fight the other one, and all of a sudden he ran up and hit you on the side. It does, barely. Right? You got him pretty good. Alright, that one kills him. Yeah, that was the one that you fucking almost killed with the first attack. Yeah, yeah, he's dead. Huck's kind of a badass. He just starts fucking. Well, to be fair, you'd probably be popping their heads off too if you weren't tripping the fuck out. I mean, it could have, it didn't necessarily have to end like this. It was just, that was, I mean, it's a, you know, yeah, I did warn you guys you're in like super goblin infested territory and shit. Like, he's just gonna try to attack the dude that attacked him. That's a hit. Damn. So he fucked that guy up pretty good. Ah! Like rips his arm off. Ah! Valamir. All right. I'm gonna say with your connections being severed and everything, you're like you, you're not sober by any means, but you're aware enough of your faculties to manage to cast the Eldritch Blast in front of you correctly. Is a hit. Was away from you, so he just all right. He flashes back into the water. You know how many goblins pee in this water? Is that your turn then? This one's gonna turn around and try to shoot at you, Pak, because you're fucking like walking through them, murdering them all. The door opens here to the thing, and you hear the Gorklin come out of his hut. The hell's going on out here? Well, to be fair, it's only been like 12 seconds. And he was tripping balls. A couple of those he had to figure out if he was actually hearing something or if it was just in his head. Yeah. Um yeah, so go ahead. Um so the archers take shots at you. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is that? The one right in front of you, he goes to shoot you and just ducks the first one, and then the one from behind him like shoots and he just ducks the other way and it misses. Like, oh my god. That's they realize that the skull is actually a goblin skull that you wear. What's the AC on Drake? All right, well that's not good enough. Then yeah, okay. Melee's turn. This one's gonna attempt to swim back out. These two are gonna try to attack Drake. And yeah. So nothing to Drake. This one does hit Valmir. What the fuck? Minimum damage, 4 damage. Even when they hit for the lowest possible damage. Unless you give them poison. Apparently, if you give them poison, then they murder the entire party. Because every time I fucking give goblins poison, something or other, they just kill everybody. Get like critical hits and shit, and fucking just murdering her. Um, so Memian comes out. He looks around and he's like, what the shit?" And he's like, "Ah, killing monkeys, not on my watch." And he turns and he casts a cone of flame on these guys. Actually does 17 damage to each of them. This one is dead. This one. The other two are just actually this one's dead too. This one's still alive though. Yep. And it would be Puck's turn. You haven't hit this guy yet, have you? Or did you? Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah. So he is still standing. Yeah, he's hurt. No, it does not. Yes. He dead. Ah! All right, this one fails his fucking con save, and he's actually on his turn is going to drop his bow and try to run because he's so terrified of you. Yeah, but you especially, you just like literally walked over here and just just walked through all of these dudes over here. Yep. He doesn't have a big mega strategy. That'll do it. I'm guessing you're probably gonna kill this guy. Dead anyways, but yeah, he's super dead. he's he's gonna sit there and start crunching on the one he just ate. uh, it's only one archer. Oh yeah, okay. Yep, I'll do it. This is minimum damage. He almost killed him still. He's already hurt. And his turn, so he is going to, being that he's like surrounded now, his only course of action is and jump into the water. You will get an attack of opportunity on him when he tries to jump into the water. Jesus. And he's dead. All right. So yeah, he starts to swim away, and Pack just ah! That, or I like the idea that like as he starts to run past you, you like slit his fucking arm, and he jumps into the water, and Pack like looks back over, and he goes, "It is crocodile season," and fucking you just hear the goblin get like mauled to death by the crocs in the fucking swamp. Ah! Ding dong, crack crack, or something like that. That was his like actual like croconane was croc, but like if translated to common, it was ding dong. And a slingshot. He's badass though, because he was super fucking brutal. Yeah, that too, because he had a small pea brain. He wasn't very smart, so it was like, yeah, he didn't give a shit. He Ding Dong was essentially like a honey badger. Like that was like he's just he was not afraid to take on anybody. And he was so fucking violent that people would be actually scared of him that were way tougher than he was because he'd be like so brutal out of nowhere. It's like, what are you gonna do with a bear trap? And all of a sudden, Ding Dong like he would like tie bear traps to like strings and like spin them around at the end of them, and then like throw them at people like fucking lassos and stick them on their bodies and stuff. Walk up behind him and stick it on his leg. You'd be surprised how effective that is. Yeah, they're all dead. Nope, they're all dead. Well, there's one. He's also an orc. He goes, "Ah, what the? Hmm. Well, you know, can't say I'll miss him, but that may come back to bite me in the ass later." Do I? You're in the swamp, boy. Of course I do. That's like one of the top two diets of the swamp. Keto and goblin. Wait, this is the perfect time. Your your monkeys, they're gone. It is fine. I know how to get them back. First, and he runs inside. He comes back out, and he has two big mugs. Come. He hands you one of the mugs. He kind of cheers you and he goes, "To familiarizing ourselves." And he takes a drink. A little bit. So you take the drink, chug it. You feel a twisting and a surging, and you feel like you're gonna be sick. And then all of a sudden, you think, are you still hallucinating? What's going on? It looks like Memian is transforming. And before your very eyes, as he shifts and shapes, what he was is no more, as he becomes sea cucumber. He turns into a monkey. Sea cucumber is like looking around, like what the fuck happened? All of a sudden, you feel yourself getting violently ill, and you start to. Only what you start to throw up is way bigger than a meal. It's a beak. It's a whole bird. As you throw up an entire crow onto the ground. And the crow, it hits the ground almost like a alien coming out of a fucking embryo, and it starts to congeal and form into the shape of a flying monkey instead of a crow. And it turns into the shape of what Stephanie was. So that's where flying monkeys come from. That's Which to you is the one that hit you the most? Drake eats the rest of the goblin bodies that you don't bring in there. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and give me like a survival or it's a pretty good goblin jambalaya. It's not your first time cooking goblin jambalaya. One thing that you notice about um sea cucumber is that one of his eyes is now like an orc eye. He kind of like even in the same like mannerisms as you know what I mean, like you're pretty sure it's I mean you pretty sure at least mostly. You want to do like a knowledge arcana? So from what you could tell, you're pretty sure sea cucumber and Memian merged souls. You're not quite sure what that means. McGorklin? No, none of your flying monkeys are normal. And with that, our heroes fall asleep with a scrumptious goblin jambalaya in their bellies. No, it is delicious. No, it's actually good. Like, if honestly, the only thing that's gross about it is that you know that it's goblin. If you didn't know that it was goblin, you probably wouldn't be as grossed out by it. It's actually probably one of the better meals you've had since you guys started traveling together. And with that the camera fades out from that conversation, panning back as they're talking about Until next